been a while since I saw you, but I was telling you about me starting up a new bucket list after my husband died. And that's just what I did. And it's got quite a few things on it that are going to hopefully make my life a little more exciting now that I'm without him. But one of the first things I decided to do was take up my painting again. And I painted this here picture. It was two pictures in one. And unfortunately, it kind of came out looking like it was a representation of my life at that point. And it was all just in gray and yellow and not very interesting at all. But I hung it on my bedroom wall, and I told it just to sit there for a while and stew until I could think what was going to happen in my life and what that picture should be. So that's what I did. I let it sit there. Oh, here's Duffy. Duffy just can't let me do anything by myself. Why, he helps me paint. He helps me do my sculptures. He even goes on my trips with me. Don't you, Duff? Yeah. But at any rate, the first thing I put on that bucket list of mine was to go rafting through the Grand Canyon. And ooh-wee, it was worth it. I'd wanted to do that ever since the kids were little, and I took them to the Grand Canyon and we rode the mule down. And that was fun, especially when my mule reached over the edge of the trail to grab a bite of a little yellow flower there, and I looked down to the mile drop below me, and he's leaning out, and I'm unfortunately leaning with him, and I thought I was going to die. But anyway, when we got down to that bottom of the canyon, and I saw these rafters going down the river, I said, oh Lordy, that's what I want to do one day. So I did. It was 7 days, 6 nights on the river, and I didn't do video back then, but I just took a little old thing and just took snapshots, because that raft ride got kind of rough. At one point we went over this really bad rapid, and why, that big old raft, it just bent like that, and I was right there in the middle, and my goodness, I thought my head was going to snap right off. I spent, when I got home, I spent 6 weeks in therapy getting it fixed. But anyway, I'm going to show you all the pictures I took while we were there, and well, it was just fun. So this is my Grand Canyon rafting adventure I'm going to tell you about, and then when that's over, I'm going to show you how I finally finished up that painting I started, that old gray and yellow one. Right, Duff? Duffy didn't go with me on that camping. Well, he went camping with me, but he didn't go on the rafting trip. But that's another story, huh, Duff? Yeah. So I'll tell you that another time. It was something I'll never forget. My trip down the Grand Canyon started at Lee's Ferry Campground, right along the Colorado River. Next morning, we all set out on 2 rafts, giant things, about 30 of us. And every time we beached and were going to spend the night, we had to unload and load up the raft again. But my goodness, the food on that trip was delicious. The crew would get it all set up and then holler for us to come and eat. This here's the bathroom. You had to pick up the toilet paper and walk out this long path out to find where it was in the brush. And that was interesting. You usually had a good view of the river while you were sitting there. But we'd all sit around and eat and talk after our trip. Many days we stopped along the way and we went showering under waterfalls and climbing up into back canyons. We took a mud bath. That was fun. Just floating in the mud. But there were so many nice things. This here's in a cave looking out. The scenery, that was just beautiful. I've never, oh well, there were a lot of beautiful things, not just the scenery, but it was glorious. And we did a lot of exciting exploring. and looking at beautiful things. This here's me swimming in 55-degree water. And this here fella, he is a Navajo Indian. He would sit around and tell us stories about his grandma and what it was like on the res when he was just a child. When the trip was over, we landed on this sandbar, and in come a helicopter, picked us all up in small groups and ferried us up to the top of the Grand Canyon to this ranch. And we got to have a little drink and a bite to eat. And then we took off in an airplane and headed back to Lee's Ferry where we started our trip. Now here's that painting I told you I'd finish up. It just turned into something fanciful. Why, up there in the middle I got Trump on a rocket shipping him into outer space. I got me sitting inside that outdoor toilet. This is the other half of it. I got Obama in a totem pole and a McDonald's arch made out of palm trees. Just fanciful. That's my life. Bye. Say goodbye, Duff. Well, Duffy really doesn't talk. Just sometimes, huh, Duff?